Welcome back in to Devil's Advocate with Richie Bradshaw as we discuss all things Sun Devils football from the gridiron to the hardwood, everything in between. It's all that good stuff. I appreciate each and every single one of you for tuning in once again as we are skyrocketing right now, already over 100 subscribers. Thank you all so much for that. If you have not subscribed yet, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, hit the like button, leave a comment. I miss you guys. I'm seeing that so many people are finding me once again. Thank you all. It means the world to me. I see all your comments. It's beyond words, immeasurable how much fun this has been and how quickly everything has been growing. Audio, still working it out. Hopefully, I will be able to get that taken care of this weekend. But for now, we are still on YouTube. Again, I'm Richie Bradshaw. We're going to talk about the Sun Devils, the Arizona State Sun Devils, and another big game that they have this weekend against the Houston Cougars. And by the way, Houston is a very good football team. I've compared them before to the first year of Kenny Dillingham. So last year, Willie Fritz comes in, takes over for Houston. They're fine. But they reminded me a lot of Arizona State in the sense of like they're in these games more than you realize. But even more than that, they got some upsets, and you looked at them and you were like, they might be onto something here. They might not be far off. And then in year two, they're off to a 6-1 start. And it's like, yeah, that's not the most surprising thing in the world. That's a good football team. There's a lot of good football players there. We'll talk about some of those players, but Connor Wegman, an example, has been the transcendent quarterback that they needed him to be. He's really helping out, and they've got great distribution across the roster. I did my best to find like a handful of like standout guys. I found a couple on offense. We'll talk about the defense. It's a great collective effort. They're well coached and they are dialed in. They're 6-1. They're coming to Tempe. This was a game that going into the year, I was like, hey, this is kind of sneaky. This might be a more competitive, hard-nosed football game than we think. And the time has arrived, and I think it's more than that. I think that this is another game that has serious implications on the Big 12 championship game run because Houston is also somewhat in control of their own destiny right now. They have the one loss, and they have dominated pretty much everyone else that they've seen. Their losses to Texas Tech, that's not ideal, but everyone except Arizona State has a loss to Texas Tech in the Big 12, who have played them, obviously. They're coming off a tight game to Arizona, who's been a more competitive team than you realize, but they rolled Colorado. They rolled Oklahoma State. This is a good football team. ASU can't overlook them. All that's coming up. It's going to be a fun game. I'm looking forward to it. But let's go ahead and once again start with the biggest questions ASU is facing going into this game. Question number 1, and it's the big one. How is ASU's passing attack going to look without Jordan Tyson? I think it's fair to say that this is a much bigger question than we are willing to realize because I don't know if you know this. Jordan Tyson has kind of been the man in the passing game. On the year, 57 receptions, 628 yards, 8 touchdowns. Putting that in perspective, he has more than 400 more receiving yards than second place, which is Shimon Mateer with 226. He has more than double the receptions for second place, which is Raleek Brown with 25. And there is only one player who has a touchdown reception, not named Jordan Tyson. That's Shimon Mateer with 1. So, yeah, Jordan Tyson is the passing attack. He has almost half of the passing yards. He's got almost half of the completions, and he's got 8 of 9 touchdown receptions. This guy is the passing attack. Now, That's not bad in the sense of like, hey, you've got a number one guy who's really, really good, but it is bad in the sense of, well, what happens when he's out of the lineup? Okay, well, we're going to find out. And we're going to find out against a really good opponent. It's not like ASU got the lucky draw of playing an FCS team or playing one of the bottom barrel teams in the Big 12 to find out. No, they're playing a legitimate contender for the Big 12 championship game. So this was not ideal to lose Tyson right now. Hopefully, this is the only game he misses, but the problem is it's a hamstring. If you're a football fan, you know that hamstrings are so tricky because it can be 2 games or it could derail your season. I always go back to Houston Texans legend Andre Johnson. I want to say it was the 2011, maybe 2012 season, and he dealt with a hamstring injury all year long. He played less than half the year. He tried to come back and just re-aggravated it. It derailed his entire year. That happens with hamstrings. They're so tricky. They're so touchy because you can think that you're good to go and it re-aggravates just like that. So hopefully this is the only game you're missing Jordan Tyson. But I'm not willing to guarantee anything. Everyone heals differently. Everybody's injuries are unique and different. I really hope this is not going to be something that derails the season for Tyson, but it does place ASU in a tricky spot going into this game because there really has not been a lot of proven pass catchers outside of Jordan Tyson. Raleek Brown has 25 receptions out of the backfield. He's averaging under 6 yards per catch. They really just are dumping the ball off to him and getting 3 or 4 yards. Like it is just so ineffective. To me, when you check down to Raleek Brown, it's almost like stat padding. Like I look at it and I'm like, okay, well, it's a completion. Completion percentage is going to go up, but that's about it because it's just a loss down. Like his longest reception of the year is 16. It's not like he's breaking off big runs. And he also doesn't have a run that, or a catch rather, that is inflating the box score. You look at his 5.6 yards per reception, and it's like, yeah, that's not a lie. That's literally exactly what he's doing. And it's a lot of the scheme because we've seen previously at USC when he transferred out from there that he is a really good receiver. They moved him to receiver at USC because the depth in the backfield and they loved him as a pass catcher so much. We know he can be deadly as a receiver. We're just not seeing it. Shimon Mateer is the only other player with double digit receptions, 21 catches, 226 yards, and the only other touchdown that's not Jordan Tyson. He's looked good. He was a consistent factor for ASU in 2024. He's been coming on stronger recently. He's coming off a very productive game for ASU. He may be your number one target going into this game, but he really has just kind of figured out a nice little role for the team. He had one catch against NAU. He did not have a catch against Mississippi State. After that, Texas State, 6 for 60 and a touchdown. Baylor, 6 for 55. TCU, 4 for 25. TCU, 4 for 66. He did have a fumble. Let's hope that does not happen. But they are getting him more incorporated. One of the things that we asked towards the beginning of the season was, hey, can we get the tight end position more involved? Because there are some really good tight ends on this roster, Shimon Mateer being one of them. We're seeing it slowly but surely. I think Cameron Harpole could end up finding himself a decent little game in here as well. With Tyson out, those balls going to go somewhere. Harpole had a pretty decent week against Texas Tech. I am ready to see AJ Ia out there. He only has the one catch. Unfortunately, Jaden Fortier is out for the game. Still waiting to figure out what's going on with Kamari Anderson. Malik McLean, they've been trying to get him going all year. Has not worked. Really interesting player, Jaron Hamilton. 4 receptions, 145 yards. He went over the century mark last week. I think a lot of people did not realize that on 3 catches. He's the big play guy. 3 of his 4 receptions have topped 40 receiving yards. So he's gonna be the guy that Leavitt goes to stretch the field. But I would like to see him just get more involved, period. Going into this game, if you're looking at a depth chart at wide receiver, he may be wide receiver 1. It's him or Malik McLean. Who knows what's going on with Jalen Moss at this point? He just has not been healthy all year. As far as I can see on the injury report, I don't see him on there. He should be good to go, but we just have not seen him pop up yet. Hopefully, this will be a game that they can get him more involved because he was one of the more exciting additions that they made in the transfer portal. We'll wait and see. But how's his passing attack going to look without Jordan Tyson is a huge question mark. I am more confident going into this game after the Texas Tech game. And the reason why is because Texas Tech, Sam Leavitt distributed the football. He had 28 completions, 10 went to Tyson, but 3 to Hamilton, 4 to Mateer, 4 to Harpole, 4 to Relique, 2 to Derek Eusebio. Let's get him involved. Big Derek Eusebio fan here. And then Demarius Man Robinson had a reception too. So if ASU didn't do that last week, I would have some more questions. I'd be a little more concerned because outside of that game, we really just have not seen ASU get too many people involved in the passing game. TCU wasn't bad. 8 catches for Jordan Tyson, 9 catches for Relique Brown, 4 catches for Shimon Mateer, and then a handful of other guys touched the ball. But I think that last week against Texas Tech was the game I needed to see Sam Leavitt get more guys involved. It helps when you're coming off the bye week. Let's see if he can do it again for a second straight week. They're going to have to. Question number 2, how does ASU's offensive line look against another stout pass rush? Now, Houston is interesting. They don't have one standout pass rusher. They don't have a guy who is leading the team in sacks by leaps and bounds. Their team leader in sacks is Brandon Mack II with 3. After that, they have 3 players with 2.5. They have Corey Platt Jr., they have Rook Brown, and they have Eddie Walls III. Then they have a guy named Jalen Garner with 2 sacks. They're just spreading it out, but it collectively has added up to 17 sacks. Is it an elite number? No, but they're averaging 2 sacks a game. That's more than good enough. And ASU's offensive line has been really up and down this year. They have gone up against some really good pass rushes. They have faltered at times, and they're going through transitions. They are adjusting to Ben Coleman being gone for the rest of the year and his collegiate career sadly being over. Last week, they had to make some adjustments. All things considered, I thought it was fine. I thought that they definitely stepped up considering the circumstances for sure, but there also is just a lot of question marks that they just have to answer. Now, Makua Poole, got the start at center. He played well. Let's see if he can do it again. ASU is going to need him to do it again. But we got to get more consistent play from the tackles. Josh Atkins and Max Yoniker are way too up and down. Kyle Scott has been very reliable at right guard. Jimeno Abibo is another guy that's really up and down. ASU needs these guys to really collectively start getting it together. They're not going to run the table, and there is a chance that they do. That we've gotten past the hard part of the slate. Houston is tough. Iowa State's a tough game, but your other 3 games with Colorado, West Virginia, Arizona, I know that there's road games in there, but those are 3 very winnable games. ASU is in a spot right now where they could run the table. They're not going to do that if the offensive line does not find a way to put a consistent 60 minutes together and not even dominate an opposing defensive line, but play an above average game. They've shown the capability. They really have. This is an offensive line I actually really liked going into the year. I know some people had questions because they got pushed around against Texas. Okay, well, it's Texas. They've got massive dudes. Their freshman players are guys who would be first-round picks if they were able to declare as teenagers. Like, it happens. They've been up and down this year. I like the highs. I don't like the lows. What a surprise. They got to figure it out, though. Houston is a good pass rush. They just have guys all over the place. They don't have a single player. They have a good scheme, and they have several guys who can do their job. Let's see how they do. Question number 3, can ASU keep their home field advantage? Here's the good news. It's another sellout for ASU. They, and I put this out the other day, ASU has quietly put together one of the best home field advantages in college football over the last 365 plus days, last year and a half. ASU went undefeated at home last year. They are a perfect 4-0 at home this year. They have a chance to beat Houston, go to 5-0. They are developing a really good home field advantage, something that we've known is possible because in the state of Arizona, if you give the fans something entertaining to go and see, you give the fans a good product, they're going to show up. We've seen Mountain America Stadium empty. We have seen Mountain America Stadium for what I think 7, maybe 8 consecutive games be sellouts, and half of those true sellouts. Not it's a sellout, and then you look up in the stands in the higher levels, and there's hundreds of seats empty. No, these are packed houses. The home field advantage is there. It gets loud. It gets very loud. I've been there as a fan. I have been there with the media. That stadium gets rocking. The student section is loud. Now that the Inferno is back, they haven't lost a game yet. So let's keep that thing going. They're going to need to be loud in this game because Houston is a really good football team. Another important factor to remember here, there is such a thing as the emotional letdown. ASU is coming off what I called last week the biggest game of Kenny Dillingham's career. They're coming off a very tight, emotional football game. The fans rushed the field. Kenny Dillingham couldn't even do the post-game conference, how excited he was. Side note, that's what post-game press conferences are for. I appreciate the guys who can talk on the field and everything, and sometimes we get really good sound bites out of it. But Kenny Dillingham was just so absorbed in the moment. Let him do his thing. I wouldn't care if Kenny Dillingham was in his 70s, but the fact that he's in his 30s, I feel like gives him kind of that stigma of like, oh, he's so young, he's immature, he doesn't know what he's doing. That's so lame. Let him go celebrate with the fans. He's an alumni there. Let him go celebrate with his teammates. Let him find his wife and his child and just enjoy the moment. That's what we have post-game press conferences for. So either way, I think all things considered, it was handled well by the media, but neither here nor there. But the point is, it was an emotional game last week for ASU. They've been kind of counted out despite being the Big 12 reigning champions this year. Last week was the statement game of like, hey, we're still here, just so you know. And Sam Leavitt does not lose Big 12 football games. Undefeated when Sam Leavitt plays them, 0-2 when he is out. Question number 4. Is ASU's defense finally ready to shut down the quarterback run? They got demolished against Utah. Devin Dampier ran for over 100 yards in that game. They overall this year just have not been ready for the mobile quarterback. It feels like the guys that actually kill you with their legs have taken advantage. Like, sure, Baylor and TCU, like you have Sawyer Robertson, you have Josh Reynolds who can run, but they don't look to run. But then against Utah, right? Devin Dampier went absolutely crazy. Against Will Hammond last week, Texas Tech. That was an improved game for sure. But towards the end, Hammond started to get going, and Hammond was putting his shoulder down, and he was running guys over. I understand Hammond is a very different quarterback, right? It's not something that you see very often that quarterbacks are willing to embrace contact and put guys in the dirt, but he was, and he was doing it. ASU just needs to find a way to defend that mobile quarterback because Connor Wakeman is a mobile quarterback, and he is one of the better mobile quarterbacks in this conference. He has run for the second most yards on the team with 243. He also has 55 sack yards that he has lost. So he's right around 300 yards. He has the team leading touchdowns with 6 rushing. He has killed teams as a running quarterback this year. Now, he hasn't been perfect. He's had games where he's gotten sacked too many times, and he's been sacked in all but one game this year. He has been sacked 11 times. ASU has gotten their pass rush at a much better spot than they were a year ago. They have 21 sacks. By the way, Prince Dorba is not questionable, doubtful to go, but there's a chance he does play. You still have Clayton Smith. You have Elijah O'Neal, Justin Wadley. ASU has been getting production from their pass rush. As long as that continues to be the case, they can get after Connor Wegman. The question I have, can you contain him when he breaks out? I don't know. That's my question right now. ASU needs to answer that. That's going to be one of the keys to getting this win. Speaking of keys to victory, let's go ahead and break those down. Keys to victory, 2 on offense, 2 on defense. Key to victory number 1, get Sam Leavitt in a rhythm, passing by distributing the football. We already talked about this a little bit, so I won't feed a fed horse kind of thing. But you do need Sam to continue doing what he's done over the past couple of games and what he did very, very well against Texas Tech. Get multiple guys involved. And the thing about ASU's passing game, they have several guys who do different things. That's one of the reasons why ASU should be able to have a much better passing attack than they do. They pass the football with Jordan Tyson. It's not a collective effort, but Jaron Hamilton stretches the field. Malik McLean is the big guy that can haul in the big time receptions, or at least he should be. Maybe he can get that started to taken care of moving forward. The tight end, Shimon Mateer, those are your reliable check down guys. In theory, they are red zone machines. You've got pass catchers out of the backfield. Derek Eusebio is a check down and let him make some plays after the catch. Jalen Moss, if they can get him healthy, is your slot receiver. They've got a collection of pass catchers, running backs, tight ends, wide receivers who can do different things. This needs to be one of the games that Sam Leavitt takes advantage of all the things that they can do. Because it's great that Jordan Tyson does all of them. He does play in the slot. He plays outside. He stretches the field. He gets the intermediate stuff. He gets the ball underneath. He's yards after catch. Jordan Tyson does everything, but you don't have Jordan Tyson. So now it's time to rely on a collective group of players who combine to give you those facets. That's going to be a huge key here, is getting multiple guys involved. Key to victory number 2, keep the offense on track 50-50. I know what you're thinking. This should be a game where you go in and you are heavy running the football. And believe it or not, that's not really been ASU this year. 243 pass attempts with Leavitt and Jeff Sims. But they have 262 rushing attempts, taking away 21 sacks. It's a lot closer to 50-50 than you may realize, especially when you look and you see how much more reliable the run game has been compared to the pass game. And then especially if you take out Jordan Tyson's production, this is a run-heavy football team. You would think going against Houston that you want to be a run-heavy football team, and that's really not the case. Houston's defense is much better than you may realize. They get carved up through the air. They have the, 16, 15, 14, 13th best passing defense. They are, or I had that backwards. There we go. The 4th best passing defense. That makes much more sense. And they are I'm looking at offense. Dude, I'm so dumb. Let's try that. Let's try that again because I just don't know what I'm doing apparently. Okay. Passing defense. They are number 5, and rushing defense are number 4. Okay. That's what I remember seeing. Goodness gracious. Fridays, am I right? Houston's defense is much better than you may think. They're very well distributed. They do a lot of things very, very well. So ASU can't just rely on one facet of the offense to get the job done. Yeah, they run the football very well. Looking offensively, ASU has the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth best running game, and they run for almost 200 yards a game. This is a good run game. Passing, they're towards the bottom. That's where they are 16, 15, 14, 13, 12th best. So there is a value here to balancing your attack, especially with Jordan Tyson out. You don't want Houston to see Tyson is out and go, we don't got to worry about the pass game. Let's stack the box. Let's make sure Sam Leavitt doesn't run. Let's make sure Raleek Brown doesn't bust out a big play. Let's make sure that when they get some other dudes involved, that we're on that. That just can't be the case. You need to have Houston respecting all three levels of the field. So not just the run game, but the intermediate part of the field and stretch the field. ASU can stretch the field this year. I wish that they have been able to do it more consistently because, again, there's so much reliance on Jordan Tyson. But ASU can stretch the field. And Jaron Hamilton putting on the performance he did last week kind of shows off ASU can definitely do this. Let's see them get that taken care of in this game. But you need to balance the offense. Don't go 60-40. Don't go 70-30. 50-50. Keep things balanced. That's one of the biggest keys in this game, if not the biggest for offense. But key to victory number 3, you need to contain Connor Wegman as a runner. Again, Connor Wegman is a much better runner than what I certainly thought he was when he was coming out of Texas A&M. He had 3 seasons of 97 rushing yards, 63 rushing yards, 101 rushing yards. In that time frame, he had taken 20 sacks. Okay, well, he can run a little bit, but it's nothing that I'm looking at and I go, wow, that's astonishing. He's going to kill ASU. That has not been the case at Houston, where he has been averaging 3.7 yards per carry. But again, that's with 55 yards lost in sacks on what do we decide? He had 11 sacks. So he is a much better runner than you think. 83 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. That was against Colorado. Against Arizona, 98 rushing yards and a touchdown. He had in the opening game of the year against Stephen F. Austin, 39 rushing yards. Like, he does really good things. And he also breaks off big runs. He's got a 27-yarder, a 49-yarder is his season long, a 28-yarder. He has a 14-yarder. He breaks off big runs. He can beat ASU as a runner, if for no other reason than because I have seen teams beat ASU with running quarterbacks this year. It is a dangerous, dangerous situation that the Sun Devils have found themselves in. They need to be ready to go, or Connor Wegman can beat them. He's not Devin Dampier. He reminds me of Will Hammond, where he's not afraid of contact. And Connor Wegman is 6'3", 210. He plays like he's closer to 230. That's a battering ram. When I see him, he can put a shoulder down and he can make guys feel small. He reminds me of Will Hammond. I don't know that he's breaking off a 70-yard touchdown, but he could break off multiple 10-yard gains. ASU has got to be ready. That has been their Achilles heel this year, at least in their 2 last games that were really, really close. They have got to be ready for it. They're not done seeing mobile quarterbacks this year. This is your 3rd straight week of seeing a really good one. You made really good progress from Dampier to Hammond, but Hammond beat you late in the game. Let's do it the whole game against Connor Wegman. Key to victory number 4. Defensively, you need to force the offense to beat you with the big plays. Houston this year, 4.1 yards per carry. Keep in mind, they have lost 62 total yards from sacks. 12.9 yards per reception, but they also have receptions of 64 yards, 50 yards, 74 yards, 43 yards. They have chunk receptions. This is a team that can blow a game wide open. But this is also a team that can be forced into a conservative role. They are not they're not a team that can run ASU off the field. They're averaging 29.4 points per game. ASU's averaging 26, but that's also with a Utah stinker that is in there. They can control the pace of this game. ASU is surrendering 24.3 points per game. I know it's not elite, but I also think that, once again, that is inflated by a stinker against Utah. That whole game just felt off. That was not an ASU football team. But neither here nor there. That's a loss, and it's a bad loss. ASU can keep Houston conservative in this game. They've got great linebackers. They're doing a good job defensively up front. Their secondary is really up and down. They're better than last year. Keith Abney's been awesome. Xavion Alford's been injured, but other guys have been stepping up, like Boogie Wilson. Miles Rouser's having a really good year. Rodney Bimage is coming around. Javen Robinson has made some big plays. They've got guys who are stepping up in the passing game with some of the injuries that they have been dealing with. ASU just needs to keep Houston conservative, eliminate the big plays, because the big plays are what Houston thrives off of. You keep them conservative, you can get them off the field. That's one of the things that they did so great about Texas Tech last week, is they were getting off the field. They were making sure that they didn't convert third downs until late in the game. That's when Texas Tech started rolling. But ASU has a chance to control the pace of this game by eliminating the big plays. Keep Houston conservative. You keep them conservative even without Jordan Tyson. I trust ASU's passing offense to generate big plays even without Jordan Tyson more than I trust Houston's team to make big plays. This is going to be a game that is going to be won with the chunk yards, but it's also going to be, I think we look back and we're like, man, that 60-yard touchdown, that's really what separated this game. That 35-yard completion on 3rd and 20 was really what separated this game. The big plays, I think, define what happens. But I think you win the game by just moving the football. We'll wait and see. ASU has got to keep Houston conservative, eliminate the massive plays which they rely on, and from there, just do what you do best. All right. Key players for the Sun Devils and the Houston Cougars. Let's talk about the key players for the Sun Devils first. As always, we don't talk quarterback. Sam Leavitt, yeah, he's one of the key players for the game. He plays quarterback. How he performs without Jordan Tyson remains to be seen. He looked pretty good in 2 games last year without Tyson. He carved up Iowa State. He played pretty well against Texas, considering he was running for his life. Box score lies in that game. This is the first game this year he will not have Jordan Tyson. Houston is a better defense than people realize. Let's see how it looks. All right. Starting with Shema Mateer. He is going to be potentially the most targeted guy in the passing game besides Raleek Brown. I will not be shocked if Raleek Brown has 5 or more receptions in this game. I wouldn't blink an eye if he had double digits. This just feels like one of those games that they're just going to check down to him, which, I mean, that's been every game this year. But I could see this being a game that ASU is just trying to get the ball out quickly. Raleek Brown, naturally coming out of the backfield, is one of the guys that you get the ball out very quickly to. But Shema Mateer, he can make a big play at the tight end position. We've seen him run off some big plays last year. He had good run after catch this year. Not so much run after catch, but we've seen him make those plays. He had his touchdown reception against was it Texas State? I believe he had his touchdown reception, and he was just able to find some separation and everything. Yeah, he had a 27-yard reception in that game. He had a 20-yard reception against NAU. He had a 23-yard reception against TCU. He can pull off the big plays, and that's what has me thinking That, and besides Tyson, he's the most productive not running back on the team. He's the only other guy with double-digit catches, and he's got 21. I could see Shimon Mateer being the most targeted guy in this game for ASU. I don't know how target distribution looks like in Houston. What I can tell you is I look at their team, and they've got a tight end with 36 catches, who we'll talk about. They've got a receiver with 27, and kind of like ASU, everything else is pretty distributed equally for the most part. They rely on their top guys more than their others, but I could see a heavy dose of targets to Shimon Mateer. I could see just Sam Leavitt hosing them the same way that he hoses his targets to Jordan Tyson. Would not be surprised if Mateer was that guy. Mateer has a chance to step up, be the biggest producer in the passing game, make sure that things stay honest. I am highlighting the entire offensive line. I'm cheating again. I did this last week. We're not done cheating like that. The thing with this offensive line is it's just been up and down. There has been great play and there has been below average play. ASU is going against a pass rush that doesn't have one dynamic edge rusher, but they do a great job creating pressure and having multiple guys do their job. They're going to need Josh Atkins and Max Yoniker to play top end football. Max Yoniker is in a lot of draft conversations, by the way. He is liked to get to that next level, but he needs games where you can just see that big length, power, athleticism put on display. This is a good opportunity to do that. You don't have an ace elite pass rusher here. There are several quality guys. If he can play well against the quality guys, that does great for him moving forward, but it builds the confidence for right now, and flat out ASU just needs it. We need some good play from the interior because there's so much shuffling going on. Abibo needs to be more consistent. Kyle Scott, keep doing what you're doing. Whatever's going on with the center position, if Poole is starting again, if we end up seeing Wade Helton get out there, he's probable to go for the game. Maybe we see Champ Westbrooks get some more snaps. There's tons of possibilities for them to continue shuffling up the offensive line, see what works, see what doesn't work. We just need the consistency from them. So offensive line as a whole definitely needs to step up. If you want me to pick a single offensive lineman, I will pick Josh Atkins, because Josh Atkins is the most hot and cold offensive lineman on this team. He needs to play as clean a football as he can, because he's given up some bad plays this year, but I've also paved some roads. I've also seen him pave some roads. Let's try one more time. I have also seen him pave some roads. There we go. Defensively, Jordan Crook. Keyshawn Elliott, stud linebacker for this team. Stud linebacker. He is leading the team in tackles. Jordan Crook has looked better. I see Jordan Crook consistently flying around the field. I think he's very instinctive. I think he's someone that can find his way into the backfield and stuff to run and generate pressure. I think that there's some upside with him in pass coverage. We know that we're going to need Keyshawn Elliott and like Miles Rouser to do some really, really good things. In fact, we'll talk about Rouser here in just a second. Spoiler alert. But I want to see Jordan Crook have another one of his big standout games. We've seen him put together some really good games this year. Against Texas State, he had 12 tackles. Baylor, he had 9. TCU, he had 7. Texas Tech, he had 7. He's had big productive games. This needs to be another productive one for him. And with him playing near the line of scrimmage, he's going to be one of the most pivotal guys in slowing down Connor Wigman. Now, I mentioned Miles Rouser. There's a reason why I mentioned Miles Rouser. One, he's played great football this year. I thought he was good last year, but he was streaky. There were some games where you're sitting there and you're like, Miles, come on, man. But then there's been more often than not this year, and you're like, yeah, no, he has stepped up with Xavier Alford being out. And that's been the case. Once again, need him to continue doing that. We have had guys step up in the secondary. None more so than Boogie Wilson. He's played great. Montana Warren had an awesome play last week, too. Kendrick Breedlove has been able to get out there and make some plays. I need Miles Rouser to continue playing at a high level. This needs to be perhaps the best game that he's had all season. Be that enforcer. He's putting down the law. He is just hit sticking guys. There's a reason they call him Ghost Rouser, baby. He turns you into a ghost. Keep doing what you're doing. That is absolutely working and establishing this defense as a not effing around unit. I need Miles Rouser to have perhaps his most productive game of the year. He has had 10 tackles twice. That needs to be the mark for this game. That should be the goal, is to get the 10 tackles. He's been close on interceptions. He hasn't forced a fumble yet. He hasn't had a sack. I would love to see him just be really productive across the box score. I would love to see 8 tackles, a sack, 2 pass deflections, and a forced fumble. That'd be awesome. But I will settle for a 13, 14 tackle game with nothing else. I just need Miles Rouser to be the most productive player on the defensive side of the football. When he's productive, ASU is winning football games. Key players for Houston. As always, it's the quarterback. It's Connor Wegman. Connor Wegman is just certifiably good. He has been perhaps the biggest reason that Houston went from sneaky competitive last year to winning a lot of football games this year. He is, when he scores a touchdown, they win. The only game they lost this year, he did not score a touchdown. He has scored a rushing touchdown in all but 2 games this year, which is week 1 against Stephen F. Austin and the loss against Texas Tech. But in Stephen F. Austin, he threw 3 touchdowns. In every other game, he is scoring at least 2 touchdowns. Last week against U of A, he had 4. He's kind of the biggest factor of this team. They go as far as Connor Wegman takes them. Find a way to keep him conservative. Looking at their offensive players, we can start with Houston players, or Houston fans. I apologize if I don't get this name correctly. Tanner Koziel, maybe. Their tight end. He came here after 3 seasons at Ball State. Massive production at Ball State. 94 receptions in 2024. He already has 36 this year. He has 3 touchdowns. He is averaging under 10 yards per reception, sure. But Connor Wegman, that's just his best friend. In all but 1 game this year, and again, Texas Tech, he has 4 or more receptions. Stephen F. Austin, he had 7. Rice, he had 6. Colorado, 4. Oregon State, 6. Oklahoma State, 5. Arizona, 6. He's just the funnel for Connor Wegman to get his completions out to. He has 36 of Connor Wegman's 106 completions this year. Number 2 on the team is their number 1 receiver, Amari Thomas. They love Tanner Koziel or Koziel. Again, I apologize. I know I'm probably butchering it. I maybe didn't get it right with either of those. But that's going to be perhaps the go-to for the offense, especially if ASU is successful, like I'm asking them to be, in taking away the big plays. We could see their big old tight end catch another 6, 7, 8 passes in this game. Maybe it is under 10 yards, but he may turn half those receptions into first downs. ASU just has to be ready for him. He's going to be the most targeted guy. Other guy on offense, I'm highlighting Dean Connors. Dean Connors is their leading rusher this year, 538 yards. He only has 4 scores. He's averaging 4.7 yards per catch. He also has 16 receptions. Not bad. He came from Rice the 2 years prior. He ran for over 700 yards in each season with 16 total touchdowns. He's good, and he has been one of the best contributors for the offense. He has the most scrimmage yards. He's obviously the life force of their run game. They really like him. He has 115 carries. You're always going to want to stuff the run game. They like their other guys. I mean, their backup running backs. Stacy Sneed has 33 carries. Jamarian Burnett has 28 carries. It's It's Dean Connors and it's everyone else. Find a way to swallow up that run game. Make sure the game is placed in Connor Wigman's hands. Take away the big ball. Defensively, again, I told you I cheated with offensive line. I'm cheating with the entire defense because when I'm looking at the box score, and I'm not a Houston fan, so I'm not watching all their games, but everything is just so well distributed. Their leading tackler is Jalen Gardner. He has 48 tackles. Carlos Allen Jr. has 46 tackles. Kentrell Webb has 40 tackles, all very well distributed. Their sack leaders, we already talked about them. Leader is 3.5. 3 guys have 2.5. Guy behind him has 2. It's just distributed. They have 6 interceptions as a team. There's one guy for each. No one has multiple interceptions. They have 24 pass breakups. 6 of them have come from Zelmar Vetter. 4 of them have come from Eddie Walls III. Otherwise, it's distributed. Forced fumbles. They have a lot of those. They have forced 11 fumbles this year. Only their top linebacker, Jalen Gardner, has more than 1. It's just distributed. They just play good football. It's kind of like ASU last year. ASU had some standouts for sure, but that was also because we follow ASU and we know who the standouts are. If you had someone from the outside looking in, looking at ASU and their box score, it's like, does anyone really stand out? And it's like, they do, but you just don't know that as much. That's me with Houston. Ignorance, for sure. Not going to hide that, but they just have a ton of guys who do a ton of good things. ASU, I don't know who you corner here. They don't have an Ed Oliver on the defensive line. AJ Halsey transferred to LSU. They just don't have that one major standout, but they've got a lot of guys who do a lot of good things well. And ASU's without Jordan Tyson, which means you're going to have to find a way to get multiple people involved, which is going to mean that Houston gets all of their good football players involved. This is just going to be a lot of hats on hats in this game. I think the national media is going to look at this game and they're going to go, yeah, we don't know who any of these guys are. we don't. There's no Jordan Tyson in this game. There's not going to be those guys that they go and highlight on ESPN and they're like, oh, look at this. This player had 15 receptions and X amount of yards. This guy had multiple touchdowns. I just don't think that's going to be in this game, which is the unsexy appeal for the media to look back at this game and cover, even though it's a 6-1 football team against a 5-2 football team and 2 teams that only have 1 loss in a Big 12 that is wide open. This is an important game. I don't think the media is going to give it much attention, and it really doesn't help that you're missing the biggest name. You have 2 good quarterbacks and a lot of, I guess you can call them misfits on both sides of the ball. Let's see what happens. All right, time to wrap this bad boy up. 4 bold predictions, 2 offense, 2 defense. Final score. Starting with the bold predictions on offense, Sam Leavitt's going to get it done. Sam Leavitt just plays good football when it is Big 12 play. Last week, even with funneling the ball to Tyson, and remember, Tyson had 105 passing or receiving yards. He still threw for 319. He still threw for 319. Against Baylor, he threw for 221. Against TCU, he threw for 291. He just produces. He went on a tear last season after the bye week against the remainder of Big 12 competition. He plays great in conference action. Well, it's another conference game. It's a home game. And this is a prove-it game for Sam Leavitt, too. There's a lot of people that are going to be watching this and going, what can he do? Can he do it without Jordan Tyson? We're going to find out. Yeah, he dominated Iowa State. Yeah, Cam Scottaboo. He played okay against Texas and bad on the box score. There are questions about whether Sam Leavitt can do it without Jordan Tyson. This is going to be a game that he is going to go out and prove himself. It's going to be back-to-back 300 passing yard games for him. Give me 2 passing touchdowns. Bold prediction number 2, there are going to be 5 players with multiple receptions. Last week, they were able to have, not including Jordan Tyson, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players with multiple receptions. That's going to be the case once again this week. Shema Mateer will be your leading receiver. Bold prediction number 3 on the defensive side of the football. They will hold Connor Wegman out of the end zone through the air. And he will score 2 touchdowns on the ground. I don't see Wegman running for 100 yards. I could see him doing what Will Hammond did. Will Hammond ran for 47 yards last week. He had 15 carries, 2 of them were sacks. I don't know what the sack yardages were. I'd imagine he was at least 60 rushing yards on 13 carries, something like that, plus a score. I see Connor Wegman doing something very similar. Hopefully ASU can get after Wegman. He's been sacked 11 times this year. Hopefully that's the case, and they can just find a way to generate some pressure. But Wegman has been a good runner this year. ASU has not been a good mobile quarterback defense. It's just going to be another game like that. I see Connor Wegman having a productive day on the ground. Give him, we'll just give him a Will Hammond outing, but we will give him an extra touchdown. So we'll say 15 carries. I'll give him around 50 yards, 2 scores. They will hold him out of the end zone through the air. Final bold prediction. ASU is going to have another efficient day defensively. It's going to mirror the Texas Tech game against a slightly worse team. That is not a shot at Houston at all. Texas Tech is elite. ASU did a good job managing them with their backup quarterback, who is good. Will Hammond is good. He has a chance to be the starting quarterback for them next year when Baron Morton is inevitably gone. This is going to be another similar game for ASU defensively. I think that they're just going to find a way to limit Houston to under 300 total yards. Houston offensively this year is averaging 380 yards per game. I think this is going to be one of their worst games. I don't think it's going to be as dominant as what they were unable to do against Houston against Texas Tech, where they had 164 passing yards and 103 rushing yards. I don't think it's going to be that dominant. I do think ASU can hold them right around 300 yards. They're going to give up 2 touchdowns to Connor Wegman, hopefully nothing else. Final score prediction. I got to have my Sun Devils at home. They don't lose at home. They have another sellout crowd. This is a game that they're going to be looking out to avoid the emotional letdown because of how real that possibility is that ASU is going to get upset. They are going to avoid Sam Leavitt getting exposed without Jordan Tyson. I think Sam Leavitt realizes how many eyes are going to be on him in this game, not just from fans, not just from opponents, not just from the media, but NFL scouts as well. There are a lot of NFL scouts that are watching him for the next 3 drafts, depending on when he inevitably comes out. This is a game Sam Leavitt needs to ball out without Jordan Tyson, and he needs to ball out without Cam Scadaboo. It's a huge test here. And I think that ASU's defense has been getting much better. I think the Utah game was a wake up. I think that they played a great 50 minutes against Texas Tech. They have got to play 60. They're going to be closer in this game. Final score, ASU 24, Houston 17. That's what I got in this game. It's going to be a fun game, but I do think that ASU is going to be able to pull out another home win when it's all said and done. I want to know what you guys think. Leave a comment with your score prediction. Let me know. But again, thank you all so much for tuning in to the show. Thank you for finding me. Thank you for letting me know that you're happy to see me again. I'm happy to see you again because I know a lot of your faces from where I was previously. So thank you guys so much. We're already over 100 subscribers. This is just our third show. Thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. This bad boy is rolling. We are only going to get more productive. We are only going to get better and better. Stick around. I appreciate you guys. This has been Devil's Advocate with Richie Bradshaw. Take care.